Good day, everyone. Meteorologist Mark Molnar here. Thanks for joining me for MeteoMark's Weather Tropical Edition. And yes, the tropics are dictating our weather here quite a bit. I'll talk to the East Coast here about that. Lots of tropical moisture we're dealing with, Bret, that's going to bear down here on the central Lesser Antilles. Yeah, this system's going to bring a big ball of moisture and wind. So yeah, get prepared for it into Thursday night and Friday. Our next storm, Tropical Depression 4, is likely to become our next tropical storm. We'll see what the chances of that's going to continue to strengthen or not. Our next system out here off the coast of Africa, we'll be watching this system as well to see if it has any chance of development. And here along the U.S. East Coast, we'll see just how much tropical moisture is going to ruin it for your weekend, and could this go all the way through 4th of July into the first part of July? We'll take a look at all that and more and see what the effects of this tropical moisture from Bret will be here into the Western Caribbean. Let's get into it. As we take a look at the satellite photo here of Tropical Storm Bret, you can see it's becoming much better organized, a bigger circulation today, lots of showers and thunderstorms. It is moving towards the Lesser Antilles, and here's our next system. This is likely to become, our next system here was named Tropical Depression 4, but yeah, this is likely to become our C-name storm, and we have more waves behind it as well. All right, so take a look at our hurricane model here, the HMON model doing the best. I mean, it's still initializing a little bit to the north here, but, it corrects itself as we come towards the Lesser Antilles. Towards midnight, you can see the center moving just here to the south of St. Lucia, right between St. Lucia and St. Vincent here. So this continues towards the southwest, and really in earnest, look at this. This system, even by 5 a.m., we're still dealing with tremendous feeder bands here on the eastern side of the storm. And with all retrospect here, you can see we have a lag here. These feeder bands on the east side continue to pummel here parts of the Lesser Antilles, and I'll just show you momentarily the European model pretty well agrees with that as we go in time here. All right, so taking a look at Tropical Storm Bret, here it is bearing down on the central Lesser Antilles, particularly St. Lucia here and St. Vincent. We're going to have a problem here as we go into Thursday night into early Friday. So take a look at this. The worst of it looks like it's going to come in right around 2, 3, 4, 5 a.m. and then stretching all the way through 10 a.m. here. Take a look at this. So yeah, this is what we're dealing with here. All the way from St. Lucia down to St. Vincent here, we're going to be dealing with a tremendous amount of a maximum tropical storm. So here's the tropical storm force winds up to 56 miles per hour and then up to 73 miles per hour, particularly here onto the northern side. So that's really going to target just to the north here, especially St. Lucia, and maybe starting to brush, to the north here towards Martinique as well. So we'll have to really keep a close eye on this and see the exact track as this, moves in overnight into the early morning hours of Friday. And that starts to move towards the west. 11 a.m., you're still dealing with some of the eastern feeder bands here. On the southern end of this, though, it looks like you're going to come pretty well unscathed here into the southern Lesser Antilles, so you can breathe a little bit sigh of relief. This continues to head to the west. It does start to weaken here. You can see the low pressure starting to get a little bit strung out here, becoming a minimal tropical storm by later on in the day into the weekend, the middle part of the weekend into Sunday as well. You see it kind of washes out here. Here's the low-level circulation here. Expected to become a tropical depression by Monday morning. So look at this. Yeah, this is pretty interesting here. So Sunday into Monday, it's expected to weaken to a tropical depression. And look at this. This moisture, you can see the low-level circulation. It probably won't be a tropical depression by this time, but look at the feeder bands stretching from parts of Jamaica, the Cayman Islands. So you get some beneficial rains out of this. I'll show you some of the rainfall totals I'm expecting out of this. As this continues towards the west, it may even bring some showers into Central America as well. It's going to hang out a little bit here through the 27th. Let me just zoom out a little bit so I can show you the overall flow pattern. The tropical moisture does become aligned a little bit by the 27th into the 28th. So some of this moisture from what's left of Bret may funnel up the U.S. East Coast here. So definitely something to keep an eye on here as well as we continue towards the west. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like too much moisture gets into Central America until about the 28th. Belize, you might see some showers out of this as well. I heard you definitely need the rain over there as well. So hopefully some rain showers and thunder showers are coming to cool you off a little bit as things have been so crazy hot and humid here into the Caribbean. All right, so as we take a look at the GFS model, here it is, a pretty similar track here. You know, the worst of it going up towards St. Lucia and maybe clipping the southern part of Martinique here. The system was passing over just to the north of Barbados here as we went into Thursday afternoon. But look at this. Yeah, the worst of it's going to be on the northern edge of this system. Let me just zoom out there. You can see it. As this continues to move west, it's still looking pretty impressive here on the GFS, but you can see by the 23rd, as we get later in the day on Friday and into Saturday, this thing really does start to wash out as it heads to the west here, showing up here on the GFS as a low-level circulation. In fact, it's showing up a little bit less here than it was on the European model. It does try to regenerate here on the 27th. You see some showers and thunderstorm activity right around Jamaica here in the Cayman Islands. That's some good news from the 27th into the 28th next week, right in the middle of the week. All right, so as we take a look at our next storm behind it here, likely to become our next tropical storm, first name Tropical Depression number 4. So watch this. Yeah, this thing really starts to crank up. It's definitely going to become our C-name storm most likely here. And look at this as we head towards, let's get a timestamp on this, shall we? There it is, the 25th. So, you know, we cruise through the weekend here. This thing's likely to become a tropical storm all weekend long here. There it is, just to the north of the Lesser Antilles in the U.S. Virgin Islands here. So yeah, this thing's going to continue to move to the north here, and I'm going to show you momentarily why I think dry air and possible wind shear could be the demise of this system. You see how it's pinwheeling around this big old Bermuda high that's slowly retreating to the northeast here. So it should open the door to allow this system to do almost like a recurve out in the Atlantic. The only problem is it looks like by the 28th here, you can see we have this East Coast trough just continuing. It looks like this is going to get absorbed into the East Coast trough here as we continue in time. And look at this. This is a bit troubling here, especially if you're in eastern North America here. Look at this massive tropical plume of moisture heading right towards the U.S. East Coast. This could be feeding in some tremendously tropical juicy air here, and you see that connection feeding all the way up into eastern Canada as well. You can see it's quite evident here as this high pressure continues to retreat to the northeast here. It's going to allow what's left of the system to feed its moisture in a conveyor belt style up into the Canadian Maritimes. And for the GFS behind our next system that's likely to become our next tropical storm, you can see over the weekend, GFS keeping it mainly, you know, a weaker tropical storm until about, you know, towards the middle part of the week. This thing could go up towards close to hurricane strength as well, but it won't. It likely won't. It's just not conducive for that sort of development, and that kind of pinwheels towards the northwest, similar to what the European model was showing. And that next system behind it here coming off the African coast, as you can see, you know, by Friday into Saturday here, this system does look pretty formidable. We don't have any confirmation from the National Hurricane Center yet that this is going to any expected development. You can see it does follow a more southerly path than the other two systems, which is going to make it a little bit harder to develop. And as you can see, it kind of washes out there by about the 27th and the 28th. So let's take a look at the air upstairs in the mid-levels. We're going to see just how much dry air is going to be ingested here into Tropical Storm Bret. You can see it passes through the Lesser Antilles with plenty of tropical moisture on all sides, but look at this big dry air pool to the northwest. This is what we're going to look for. That's probably most likely going to be the thing that really kills this system. And you can see it starts wrapping around the southern end and choking the north and southern end of the circulation from the moisture to the east. And as you can see here, look at that tropical moisture plume across South America all the way up the U.S. East Coast. That is the troubling thing for the East Coast. There's our next system behind it that's likely to become our next tropical storm. You can see the system continues towards the west. It's still ingesting some dry air here and getting weaker as it moves towards the southwest. The good news here, though, some beneficial rains for parts of Jamaica and the Cayman Islands. It won't be anything tremendous, but it'll be enough to moisten up the layers so you can actually get some moisture here. And look at this. It actually might help give rise to a new storm here into the eastern Pacific. Look how dry it is in the mid-levels, though, across the Gulf as of late. You know, and here's our next system out here it likely starts to get, intrusion of dry air on the east side as well as the west side as well. But the big thing with this system, our next system, is it's going to become absorbed here into this massive East Coast trough, so to speak. So as we take a look at total QPF precipitation amounts here, as we go through the Lesser Antilles, take a look at this. So you're heading up towards 60, 70, 80, maybe close to 100 millimeters of rain, especially through St. Lucia and parts of St. Vincent here, just north and south. And look at this, as we head to the western Caribbean here, let's see how that racks up. There's Jamaica right here. This is towards late weekend, especially towards Monday, Tuesday, into Wednesday of next week. We start to get up towards 40, maybe as high as close to 50 millimeters of rain here in a parts of Jamaica. That is some great news. And then throughout the week, we get towards 70 to as much as 90 millimeters of rainfall. And then as we get here into the Western Caribbean, here's the Cayman Islands, here's Central America. Look at this as we head towards the weekend. So this system, what's left of Bret, is going to start racking up the precipitation totals. Look at that. Cayman Islands could get upwards of 45, 50 millimeters. And then we get over towards Belize here. Look at this. Close to 100 millimeters across parts of the eastern coast here. So this is some good news to get some beneficial rains, tropical downpours out of this. It'll also bring your temperatures down a bit. So our future radar here across, North America. Let's take a look here. So as we go throughout, the early morning hours of your Friday. So TGIF here. Yeah, look what's going on over into the Ohio Valley. So we start to get, from 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Look at Cleveland there. Getting some rain. Beneficial rains here into Columbus as well. Look at this. We're getting some thunder showers here around Harrisburg, Baltimore, Washington, D.C. And we also have some system up here. A little bit of light rain here in eastern New England. And look at down here into Florida. We have some big thunderstorm complexes that are going to be making their way felt here from the Tampa area up to Orlando, just to the west of you here by 8, 9, 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. So, yeah, look at that. Friday morning, there it is. System pushing out, kind of washing out here. As we get up into the northeast, though, look what starts to happen. So let me just back this up here to right around, late morning. Here it is. So here's 11 a.m., noon, 1 p.m., 2 p.m. So, yeah, you get the idea here. There's going to be a conveyor belt of moisture moving up here from the eastern part of the Carolinas all the way up into eastern Pennsylvania, starting to affect parts of the Catskills and Poconos of New York here, too. So watch this. Cleveland, you're going to have a little bit of a dry spell, just after lunch here. But watch this. Things should really start to fill in just east and northeast of Cleveland here. Some heavier thunderstorms. Look at these thunderstorms right around the Harrisburg area, eastern Pennsylvania, all the way up to northern New Jersey here. So watch out as we head down through the Carolinas. You have been no stranger to this tropical moisture. Look at this tropical moisture feed all the way up the East Coast. And look at this big slug. This is going to be heading for the mid-Atlantic here. Let's actually put this into motion. Watch out here into the Central Plains as well. We could have a mesoscale convective system developing here. Now watch this as we continue to go 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m. Friday evening. Most of the moisture does move into the northeast here, as you can see. This is 1 a.m. Saturday morning. Look at this. Showers and thunderstorms continuing. So, yeah, some of these could be some big gully washers. I'm not really expecting any severe weather out of this. This is going to be more heavier downpours as the main problem. But look at that. Getting into New England here. This is by 9 a.m. Saturday morning, 10 a.m., 11 a.m. Look at how things really start to fill in as well. So, yeah, you're going to start to feel the effects of this tropical moisture moving in. You're going to feel the humidity rise. It's definitely going to feel pretty tropical here. This is 2 p.m. So scattered showers, thunderstorms, some with very heavy downpours. Here in Florida, we're going to continue through Saturday afternoon. And look at here to Missouri. You could have some scattered to isolated strong to severe thunderstorms. All right, and is this trough across the east going to lift anytime soon? So this is Sunday, the 25th of June. And look at that. A bigger trough comes in from the Ohio Valley and helps to really push this trough in and lock it in place, so to speak, here next week. So we're stuck with it. And then another trough rolls towards the East Coast. We start to see a silver lining, though. Look at it's not as troughy here across the U.S. East Coast by July 2nd. So things might start to try to even out here a bit. And I have more weather for you here in just a moment. Here is a quick, exciting announcement from my affiliate. I am proud to announce that I am now an affiliate with Trilogy Maps. TrilogyMaps.com, bringing you the most digital, customizable maps found nowhere else on the internet. These maps are simply stunning. It's an advanced layering system that makes these maps great for making forecast maps with ease or any other maps that you would like to display important information on. The resolution on these maps is simply amazing. From the detail of everything here in the States, and you can also create stunning, digital, professional layered maps from also across the entire world. And don't forget, in checkout, the discount code option, use my code, MeteoMark, hit apply, and you will get 20% off your order. So if you want the most professional, customizable, and affordable weather maps found nowhere else on the internet, look no further than TrilogyMaps.com. Link in the description down below along with your discount code. So synoptically here along the East Coast, look at this into the 23rd, Friday into the 24th and 25th for your weekend. We get these afternoon showers and thunderstorms in this tropical air mass, and I'll be showing this to you momentarily on the European model as well. Look at this. Yeah, this is towards the 26th. We could actually have some severe thunderstorms from parts of the Ohio Valley into parts of the Mid-Atlantic here. So please stay tuned for that. This is actually a very vigorous low-pressure system. And then we continue throughout the week. We finally start to clear things out. But the next system is right behind it here on the heels. It could actually start 4th of July weekend off with a boom here across parts of the Ohio Valley into the Northeast. So take a look at the European run here. Look at that across the east. That's just a big old mess, isn't it? Yeah, from the Gulf Coast all the way up to the Ohio Valleys, we head in Friday. There's that low pressure. It's going to help funnel all this moisture to the north. We have a big old trough hanging out here. Beneficial rains from the Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic, and the Northeast. You can't complain because you need the rain. That is a good saying to go by this time of year. And as you look at this, yeah, it's going to continue here through early Saturday. You know, we get a resurgence throughout the day. So pretty much from central, eastern Ohio, all the way up to the Carolinas into the Northeast, we're going to see this pummeling rainfall, especially during the afternoon and evening hours. We could have a severe weather outbreak here into parts of the plains and parts of the southern states as well. Look at that, South Florida, some stronger thunderstorms. Let's back it up there. There we go. So we get into Sunday, the same old broken record happening. There's the explosion of showers and thunderstorms here across the Northeast, and this next low piece of energy moving into the Ohio Valley. This could re-energize some of these showers and thunderstorms as well. You are actually getting a break here across parts of the Carolinas. That is welcome because you've had so much rain, thunderstorms in those. But look at this here into Ohio. This is late Sunday night. Sunday evening and Sunday night, we could have some strong to severe thunderstorms across parts of Ohio, places like Toledo, Cleveland, Akron, Columbus. Please stay tuned because things could actually get pretty rough here. So let's continue as we go in time here. There's that big old low. It's pretty strong for this time of year across the Great Lakes. As we head throughout Monday, look at this. This is going to be the name of the game. This looks like a big old wintertime pattern here. And it's going to start to funnel moisture up the East Coast as well. We got a direct connection down here into parts of the Caribbean. And that's just going to continue. Look at this as we head into Tuesday. That low pressure moves very little. Yeah, we got ourselves a recipe for maybe too much rain here across the Ohio Valley in the Northeast, although you definitely have been dry. Those drought meters going through into the moderate to some areas severe range. But look at that Thursday as well. The low pressure finally starts to move out, and look at this. Just as you thought maybe things were going to be dry for 4th of July weekend, look at we start with another low kicking across the east. So we're going to continue to pummel these lows here from the Ohio Valley into parts of the Northeast. Look at this. Yeah, I'm sorry to say. This is Saturday night heading into Sunday. Look what we got lining up here into parts of the Northeast. But our only hope is this high pressure builds in quickly behind it. So as we get into total liquid equivalent precipitation, this is going to take us through Monday first. Look at this. So yeah, you're dealing with some strong to severe thunderstorms up here in the northern plains. Look at up here across the East Coast. This is a generalized 1 1/4 all the way up close to 2.5 inches of rain, especially eastern Pennsylvania, parts of New Jersey here. And watch this. We'll just continue through next week here. Look at the, yeah. That's through 4th of July weekend. That's a lot of rain That all those red areas are 2.5, 3, 3.5, and those yellow and orangish areas are 4 to 6 inches. All right, so for the Northeast, this is your Friday into your Saturday. Here we go. So from eastern Ohio on eastward, you're going to see a 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch from Cleveland southward here. Look at here into parts of the Susquehanna River Valley. We head up into parts of the Northeast. We're going to see about 3/4 to 1 inch on average here. And as we go throughout the rest of the weekend, look at this Sunday. We start racking it up there in eastern Pennsylvania, parts of central New Jersey, parts of Maine as well. But if you look as we continue through the rest of next week, look at this. This just goes insane into Wednesday, into Thursday of next week, the 29th, into Friday, the Saturday, the 30th, all the way through Sunday, July 2nd. Look at this. There could be some areas approaching 6 to 7 inches of rain in these darker orange colors. So where the heaviest bands of rain set up, these tropical downpours, is where we'll probably likely see some flash flooding problems. So as we head here across the mid-Atlantic, this is through Friday into Saturday and Sunday. So thankfully Saturday and Sunday it starts to dry out a little bit here across the Carolinas, but then we start moistening it back up for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week. Eastern North Carolina, there it is. You start to see an increase of tropical moisture once again. And here across the Southeast, let's take a look. So yeah, Friday into Saturday, the Panhandle looks like the big winner for rainfall totals here, upwards of 2 to 3 inches there north of Tampa. But look at this as we head through the rest of next week. Things try to dry out a little bit. Look at that as we head towards next weekend, which would be, the 4th of July towards July 2nd. Take a look at this. So hopefully we can start to dry things out here across the Southeast so you can have a nice 4th of July. So taking a look at smoke amounts here, Michigan has been the target as of late. That starts to lift a little bit to the north towards Wisconsin and the northern UP here. Look at this, though. This is just not good news at all. Look at the more fires here expanding here into parts of Ontario. This is terrible news. And look at this mess up here towards parts of Quebec. I am sorry to say, but if we start to get a northerly wind here in the east, we are going to be in for a world of hurt here. Look at these purple colors. This is in excess of 150 to 200 plus here. Look at this. We start to get a northeast wind here into parts of Minnesota, the northern UP here into a northern part of Wisconsin. Things are going to be going downhill here pretty fast. And this is also concerned here into Quebec. Look how it starts to inch towards the northeast here towards Saturday, the 24th. So, yeah, on our mesoscale model, unfortunately, we can't go out beyond that, but we're going to really have to keep an eye on these two plumes here from Ontario to Quebec, so please stay tuned. So let's take a look at this zoomed in. You can see this kind of skips. We try to get some better air quality into parts of Michigan as we go throughout Friday, but look at that. The northern part of Minnesota there into Wisconsin by Saturday midday, that looks just atrocious. And here we go with John. He is in the M45 Wellingborough motorway, June 18th at 24 degrees Celsius, Wellingborough, UK. Take a look at this. Out on the open highway, some nice blue skies. It is looking fantastic out there. Really nice capture there in your travels, John. Nice capture. All right, so for the Eastern Pacific here, we have a massive area that could develop up to 70% chance. And you know what? Both models are really agreeing that probably by the 25th, 26th, we have something organizing pretty quickly here. Look at this. This is towards Monday the 26th here. So, yeah, this big old ball of convection developing pretty rapidly. Thankfully, it looks like it's going to be a little bit further away from the coastline right now, but you never know with these systems until they initialize. So, yeah, this could definitely become a hurricane. Finally getting a system here into the Eastern Pacific, and look at this right behind it. Looks like possibly another hurricane forming just behind it, but we have to watch this one because this one might actually come pretty close to the coast here. All right, so for the Western Pacific, there is that system way off here into the intertropical convergence zone. Look at this. This is one that's been on my radar. It's been showing up on both the GFS and the European model. Here it is. This, my friends, is by the 24th, so we're getting into Saturday and into Sunday here. Look how quickly it develops here. This is the GFS. I'll show you the European model momentarily here. Look how quickly, by the 27th, we could actually have a named system just east of the Philippine Islands here. And look at this. It blows up into what could be a pretty formidable typhoon here. It's taking it just north of the main part of the Philippines here. Here is Taiwan. So what's going to happen with this system here? Well, we don't seem to have like a frontal boundary here to the north. You got to go pretty far north. So as we go in time here, let's see exactly what's going to happen. So it's kind of just meandering to the north here off the east coast of Taiwan. And it kind of makes a run towards Taipei here. They're just to the northern side of it. So here, yeah, we could be looking at a problem here for parts of Taiwan and China. Let's take a look at the Euro. All right, so let's take a look at the European run here. Let's take a look here into the Western Pacific. So as we head towards the 24th, the 25th, there is a frontal boundary up here. You can see it on the European model. But let's see if the system actually is initialized. It is. It's starting to initialize here by the 26th. Here it is. It's a little bit weaker on the European run, but there it is. Nevertheless, you start to see it try to blow up here. This is further west and south, so it brings it across the northern part of the Philippines. This is a trend we're going to definitely have to watch here. The Euro is further south and weaker here, and then it pinwheels it slowly westward and starts to blow it up here. Look at this. This could be something here if the European holds true for South China, and then look at this. It pinwheels up towards the Chinese coast here and Taiwan, and it looks like it tries to get absorbed here into the westerlies for that matter. So definitely something we're going to have to keep an eye on here. Both models are indicating these could become named storms or even typhoons. So for your temperatures here, I want to briefly go over these as well. Big heat wave here across the central part of the country. There's the temperatures being held down here into the east as we get into your Saturday as well. Look at this. Heat and humidity is actually rising from the Carolinas and northeastward here with that tropical air mass. Look at those century mark triple-digit figures there across Texas. It's just going to solidify and become even hotter. This is a massive heat dome here across the southern part of the plains here in southern Gulf Coast states. That's going to start to spread northeastward here. It's becoming a little toastier here into the northeast as well as we head into Monday. Look at that mid to upper 80s here into the mid-Atlantic. Look at this heat just building here across the southeast. And as we get towards your Tuesday here, the 27th, this heat ridge, this massive heat ridge just continues. Temperatures behind the front, though, into the 70s here into the northeast, and that stays into the 70s, but we continue to bake here across the southern plains and Florida. Extended outlook from hometown viewers, Binghamton to Scranton, Upper Susquehanna, River Valley of New York and Pennsylvania. Yeah, I'm sorry to say this, but yeah, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, rain, showers and thunderstorms likely every day. Sunday, you have the best chance of some breaks of sun. But yeah, each day you're going to see about a third to up to a half an inch of rain. And Monday is your big day with that front moving through, probably some severe weather potential. So watch out for that damaging wind, large hail, especially after 3 p.m. Each day, the best chance of rain is obviously between 2 p.m. and 9 p.m. So the afternoon into the evening hours. As always, thanks for joining me for this edition of MeteoMark's Weather. Take a look at the links down below. I have my affiliate link for Trilogy maps, so if you want to get some of those, I do make a commission off those. I just wanted to disclose that, but go ahead and use the code MeteoMark to save 20%. Also, visit my Hurricane 2023 Outlook if you haven't already. Link at the end of this video and description down below. Don't forget Facebook MeteoMark, also Weather Northeastern, also Hurricane Northeastern for my tropical page, at MeteoMark.com, WeatherNortheastern.com, Twitter at WeatherEastern. Thank you for joining me.